Okay, hi everyone. I'm just going to show you a little quick intro to Photopea. So Photopea is a website that's totally free. And if we look at it, it looks almost exactly like Photoshop. So lucky for us, it's not too hard to kind of adapt into Photopea from Photoshop. So when we first open it, you're going to have some ads on the side. Just ignore that. It's fine. We're going to just click on New Project. And we're going to have a lot of these templates here. Just kind of ignore that. I never use those. Instead, here on the left is what we really want, okay? So for name, right now it's called sample one. That's what I've just decided to name it. And then for width and height, yours will probably start off with a really big number with px over here. Okay, and px is another word for pixels. Okay, and if you girls remember, we do not use pixels when we create our projects. Instead, if we click on that, we can simply go to in, which stands for inch. Okay, so I have right now my image set for a standard size of 8.5 inches wide, and height is 11. Okay, last but not least is DPI. DPI is essentially the resolution of the image. Okay. So if you remember, you always use between 150 to 200. Okay. In this case, I'm just going to stick with 150. It's a nice size. I'm going to press create. And so here is my image so far. Let me get rid of that. Okay. So I have a white background layer right here. And just like in Photoshop, if I wanted to, I could create a new layer like that. I can right click, I can delete, okay? If we look on the sidebar over here, this tool right here is my move tool. I have, very similar to Photoshop, a rectangle select, or like the rectangular marquee tool, or my ellipse select. I have the lasso tool, and in terms of selection, like in Photoshop, we have quick selection and magic wand. Here we have our crop tool, nice and simple. Our good old eyedropper. This is a spot healing brush tool, patch tool, and then probably one of our most used tools is the brush tool, okay? Some people might know we have clone stamp. I wouldn't recommend using it in Photopea. It works a bit differently, and I'm still trying to figure that out as well. We have my, if you guys remember, my enemy, the eraser tool. We have our gradient tool, and if we hold that down, we also have our paint bucket, okay? We have blur tool. This is our dodge and burn. Dodge will make things lighter in an image, and burn will make it darker. We have text tool, and actually, lucky for us with text, unlike Photoshop, if you click on the text options, is they'll actually show you a preview of what the text looks like. So you don't have to keep just clicking and hoping that you'll like it. So that's definitely a lot more helpful. And then these tools we don't typically use. This is another way to kind of you can like grab objects and move it. Zoom tool. This is important because doing, unfortunately, Control Plus doesn't always work in Photopea as it is in your browser, not on an actual downloadable part of your computer. So if we click on your magnifying glass, up here we can either zoom in or we can zoom out, okay? And just like in Photoshop, we have our color options, okay? So with black, and look at that. You can choose any color you want. So I'm going to choose nice red, click OK, and there it is, okay? I can simply color that in. I can make a new layer, and real quick, I'm just going to put in another image. I'm going to show you some cool stuff we can do. I have this image right here. Just going to put that in like that. Okay, and automatically we can resize it for ourselves. I recommend just kind of resizing it if you can when it first opens. Just kind of easier. And then we can confirm if, however, if at any point you want to resize it because you're like, oh, wait, no, now it's too big because I edited it. You can always just do Control T. Okay, and like that. And something really cool about Photopea is, as I said before, we have all the same options down here. We have our adjustment options, but also we can play with the blend modes, just like in Photoshop. So I can do darken, I can do color burn, I can do lighten, I can do overlay, difference. Oh boy, wait, that actually looks pretty cool. And yeah, so I'm just kind of, honestly, I'm kind of playing around. Ooh, that's cool. It's out of a horror movie. And so I would really just recommend kind of fool around a little bit in Photopea. It does work very similar. However, there are some differences just with some of the control options, and some of the tools are a little bit, don't work as well as in Photoshop because it's a free program and it's kind of like a replica of Photoshop, not exact. But let's say I'm really happy with this and I really like it. I can go to File, and this is actually really cool. And I think just in general, a really cool option to have is that you can actually save this as a PSD. You're not going to do that now, unfortunately, because, or actually, you know what? We could, because then that way we can keep going back with our layers. So I'll always save as a PSD. But just kind of going forward, when we do go back to school eventually, you can always do work actually in Photopea, and you can work in PSDs. But let's say if I'm completely done with this project right now, I'm actually going to just export as, and I'm just going to do a JPEG. Okay, always JPEG. It looks very big. It's okay. It's just telling me kind of how it's saving. I just let it save how it is. Okay, I'm not going to be changing the width and the height and the quality. Quality 70% is pretty decent. I'm just going to click save. And then I'm just going to open it up down here. And there we go. Pretty cool image. Ta-da! Okay, so I hope that kind of helps out a little bit with Photopea. Oh my God, where'd it go? Okay. I hope that kind of just helps out with understanding Photopea a bit. Really, I would recommend just kind of play around with it and learn with it. In a little bit, I'm also going to have a demonstration of other two options, which were Pixlr and GIMP. Okay, goodbye.